everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Front Row series. And today I'm in conversation with Nadishani Perera, who's the Executive Director at Transparency International Sri Lanka. Welcome, Nadishani.
Thank you.
So Nadishani, Transparency International is involved in combating corruption in Sri Lanka. My question to you is, what are the costs of corruption and the implications on that for businesses, the private sector, as well as the government? And then overall, what are the implications on the country because of corruption?
So Sri Lanka is in this state today and in a sort of a perpetual state of being a developing nation. A key reason is the corruption. That is, in one sentence, the cost of corruption, the quality of life we have compared to, say, a country with less corruption. So the problem with corruption is that it steals away economic development, right? Because it's like you are pouring funds, resources, and the effort into a big bowl with lots of holes. And so what goes down to the areas that actually need development, be it health or the services or the roads or, the essential needs of people, would be so much less. Sometimes it's low quality because, you're not getting the best project because you've taken a commission and now you're going into a less quality output. It's enormous. You cannot have thriving corruption and a thriving economy. It doesn't work that way. Of course, there is that corrupt group that enriches themselves, but you're talking about the wider group that will have to pay the price. And then there's this whole element of it's a moral degradation, because it's like if corruption is the normal way of things, like we see that it's cultural, it's the way things are done, then you don't really have ethics principles, because you can buy someone, you can buy someone's loyalty, you cannot be sure of justice. Then what standards are we talking about, and what kind of values are we imparting to our future generations? So and then of course you cannot be assured of your safety or your well-being, because people don't have that standard. People can be bought. So that has happened. That's a huge problem. And the whole fundamental of how the country is run is that we vote people to run the country, to govern the public resources, take critical decisions on behalf of the citizens. Now, when there's corruption, and what we see now and what we saw last year with the whole uprising of people, is that people have lost the trust they placed on those whom they elected to govern us and take those decisions. So that is a huge problem, because that's what we call the social contract, right? That we are the right holders as citizens, they are the duty bearers, but now the right holders cannot rely on these people. They've not taken interest in the best interest of the country, they've taken decisions in their best interest. So there is a massive cost. I mean, about the numbers you would have heard, right? Like sugar scam alone is like 15.9 billion. I mean, I can go on, and these amounts, I think we don't even realize, because we don't even realize how many zeros are there. None of us see that amount of money in our purse. It's so massive, and it's actually affecting, somebody's food, somebody's healthcare. It's a huge problem that has to be addressed if we are to rise as a nation, if people are to be treated with dignity, to have a basic quality of life.
So Nadishani, you alluded to the importance of having transparency and accountability. So in your view, what are the best practices and initiatives both the private sector as well as the government could take on?
So transparency, it's like this antidote for corruption. The more transparent you are, the more difficult it is for you to be corrupt, because that means you're very open about how you take decisions, what are the reasons, what factors. People can question you, people can disagree, you get more people involved in decision making. So now this needs to be infused into governance, talking about governance of the country, governance of institutions. I mean, we point our finger towards the politicians, but do we govern our own offices, businesses in a transparent manner? Are we okay to share information? In fact, our culture is such one, this opacity, secrecy that is almost like, how dare you question me? So that culture has to change. Now, we have a really awesome law called the Right to Information Law. It is considered, from a law point of view, the fourth best piece of legislation in the world in terms of comparison of RTI laws. But the problem is that our cultural change has not gone in par with the law. There's no point just having a law which people are not ready to implement. And we've been working hard as TISL to take this awareness and show even the public officials. It's also in their interest to give this information. It honestly makes life easy. You win the trust. There are less misunderstandings. So you start with having this information culture. Then, of course, the next one that is tied up with transparency is accountability. You cannot get away saying, I don't know, you point out to somebody under you and say, it's that person's mistake. You need to own your mistakes. You need to be answerable. And we need to then address this culture of impunity. We all know, when a kid would know, that you steal a mango or a coconut, you might actually have to pay the price. But you steal in billions, in white-collar grand scams, you'll be fine. In fact, you are even voted against. So there is a problem there, right? And accountability, transparency need to start from the top. First of all, in an organization, there's no point catching these little employees. The leadership. First of all, you need to set the tone from the top, and then you infuse these standards into your mechanisms. You need to review your processes, how much information are we sharing, how much involvement is there, and then you can expect others to follow that.
There you have it, food for thought on combating corruption and ensuring that Sri Lanka will have sustained economic development. So thank you, Nadishani, for sharing those insights. And to our viewers, thank you for listening in. And do stay tuned for many more insightful sessions that we'll have on various topics such as this. Thank you.